Now the latest from ITV News Meridian with Fred Dinage and Sangeeta Barbara.
Good evening, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the south. Preventable deaths of vulnerable patients. Demands for a parliamentary debate on the care given by Southampton's Southern Health.
But over in Sussex, outstanding. Hospitals in Chichester, Worthing and Shoreham are told they're the best in the country.
Plus, an organic breakthrough. A new way of making our fruit and veg last longer. Is it safe though?
And the Queen and I. On the eve of the Queen's 90th birthday celebrations, Leslie's bird's eye view of Her Majesty at the age of 16. Good evening to you, welcome. The state of our health service and our NHS trusts are in the spotlight tonight. One is in good health, the other not.
It's good news for several hospitals in Sussex. They have been rated outstanding, the best in the country for crucial services like accident and emergency and maternity. Praised by the Care Quality Commission. We will have that story in a moment.
First though, and criticism again for the Southampton-based Southern Health, which provides community, mental health and learning disability services. The Fareham MP, Suella Fernandes, is calling for a debate in Parliament after a number of patient deaths.
Well, last night she met Southern Health's Chief Executive, Katrina Percy, and raised concerns over the way the trust is being run. Many families have called for Miss Percy's resignation and say their relatives were badly let down.
Well, the CQC has already warned the trust to make improvements. With the story so far, Sally Simmons.
Sarah Ryan's house turned into a campaign centre the night her son Connor Sparrowhawk died in July 2013.
When one of your pup dies in a circumstance like this, where it was completely preventable death at the hands of the state, I think that you, as a mother, you would leave no stone unturned.
Mrs. Ryan's investigations found that serious failings and neglect led to her son's death. He drowned in a bath while in the care of Southern Health. The mother of five asked NHS England to delve further, and last December a report by independent audit company Mazars revealed Southern Health failed to properly investigate 700 deaths in 4 years. Mrs. Ryan's campaigning has achieved a lot. Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt recognised as much last December.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to pay tribute to Connor's mother, Sarah Ryan, who has campaigned tirelessly to get to the bottom of these issues.
Hunt demanded a full report from the Care Quality Commission due out later this month. Meanwhile, the CQC issued a warning notice a fortnight ago demanding urgent action. But Mrs. Ryan hasn't been able to persuade the Chief Executive of Southern Health to step down. Katrina Percy told ITV Meridian last December she had no intention of resigning.
My job is to lead this organisation, leading the many thousands of dedicated individuals who I'm very proud of, to make the improvements in the care that we offer.
Last night, MPs led by Fareham's Suella Fernandes expressed concerns over Southern Health's leadership in a private meeting with Miss Percy. Once the full CQC report is published, the Fareham MP says she will seek support to call for a debate in Parliament. Connor Sparrowhawk's mother won't stop campaigning until those responsible are held to account. The support of MPs could be pivotal. Sally Simmons, ITV News.
Well, the Fareham MP, Suella Fernandes, is in Westminster. Ms Fernandes, you've had a meeting, now you want a parliamentary debate. What will it achieve?
We had a useful meeting with Katrina Percy, the CEO of Southern Health, her team and fellow Hampshire MPs, and we were able to put to her and her team really serious and detailed concerns that we all have about constituents, particular cases. I've decided to wait until the definitive report is issued by the Care Quality Commission, expected at the end of this month, at which point I hope to call a parliamentary debate on the floor of the House, whereby all colleagues in all counties who are affected can talk about this in detail. We can assess whether this is particular to Southern Health or a wider problem, culturally or systemically, and importantly, a minister will be obliged to respond and a strategy will become clearer.
In your meeting with Miss Percy, you mentioned your concerns over the way the trust is run, concerns over governance. So do you think she should still be in her job? Isn't it time for her to go?
I have serious concerns about the governance, the leadership and the management of Southern Health, which all puts patients at risk. And I think time is running out for the leadership to persuade us that they have the capacity and the ability to turn things around.
We know a number of deaths were preventable. There's no doubt about it. How can people have confidence in a trust dealing with vulnerable patients?
Public trust is at an all-time low, but there is a process in place. The CQC issued a warning notice, which has the force of law behind it, forcing Southern Health to take particular steps to change its practice.
Briefly, if the final CQC report is particularly damning, is it right that Miss Percy does resign, yes or no?
If it is a damning report, it will be for many people to consider whether this is a widespread issue or particular to Southern Health, and it will be appropriate to decide whether it is the right outcome.
Suella Fernandes, thank you.
Thanks.
Meanwhile, over in Sussex, the NHS trust that runs hospitals in Worthing, Chichester and Shoreham is now one of the best in the country. St Richard's Hospital in Chichester, Worthing Hospital and Southlands in Shoreham were praised for their work in accident and emergency, medical care, end-of-life care and maternity services.
Western Sussex Hospital's NHS Foundation Trust is one of only 3 across the country to receive an outstanding rating. Frimley Health NHS Foundation Trust in Camberley in Surrey was the first to have been given the grade by the Care Quality Commission back in September 2014. With more, Charlotte Wilkins.
Thank you.
How's your pain been?
Not too bad.
Putting patients first. That's the mantra of Western Sussex Hospital's NHS Trust. It's what's helped them achieve an outstanding rating from the Care Quality Commission.
So we've had 5 out of 8 of our services deemed to be outstanding, and that is incredible and it's unusual. So I think if you're a patient coming in needing to have a baby or needing the emergency department or needing to have an operation, then you can safely come in the knowledge that actually we're delivering the best possible and safest care.
I think they deserve it. Really deserve it for all sorts of reasons, you know. Kindness, sympathy, hard work, you know, the lot.
Their focus on safety, learning from incidents and complaints, and delivering care based on the needs of patients were all contributing factors. Inspectors found the staff here exceptionally compassionate, and they showed kindness, not only towards their patients, but towards each other. There were some areas in need of improvement though. Some patients waited too long for treatment and a significant number of appointments were cancelled.
I think we're a very honest organisation, so we know the areas we need to focus on, and it was great for us because the CQC didn't tell us anything we didn't know. We know where we've got to improve, we need some improvements through our outpatient services and other areas within the trust, and we'll continue to focus on those. But we have a workforce which is totally committed to improving the service and improving the experience for our patients. I'm very, very proud to be part of it.
The Trust's rating is a stark contrast to neighbouring East Sussex Healthcare NHS Trust, which was placed in special measures and rated as inadequate in their last CQC inspection. It is a difficult time for the NHS, you know, money's tight and you're put under a lot of pressure. How do you excel in an environment like that?
We do what we do every single day. We put our patients first and we care for them in the best way we can, and that's what we do well.
The challenge for the Trust now is to maintain their high standards, but with the help of their dedicated staff, it's something they're confident they can do. Charlotte Wilkins, ITV News.
In other news, 2 former soldiers accused of raping a female colleague have been found not guilty. A military court heard how Corporal Anne-Marie Element was assaulted after a night out drinking in Germany. The 30-year-old was found hanged at Bulford Barracks in Wiltshire 2 years later. Jeremy Jones and Thomas Fulton had both denied the charges.
Train drivers working for Southern Rail and Gatwick Express have begun a ballot for strike action. It's in a dispute over driver-only operated trains. Yesterday, conductors on Southern announced they will walk out on April the 26th, May the 10th and May the 12th for 24 hours. It will mean disruption for thousands of commuters.
Meanwhile, Southampton City Council's been forced to apologise to parents after some children were allocated the wrong school places. The authority says a technical issue in the admissions process affected a number of reception class places.
The director of Dorset's Monkey World has presented a petition to Downing Street calling for a ban on keeping monkeys as pets. Alison Cronin was joined by the South Dorset MP Richard Drax and also the rock musician Peter Gabriel, who is supporting the campaign. The petition's been signed by more than 100,000 people.
A driver had a lucky escape in Portsmouth earlier when she lost control and her car ended up balancing on some steps outside the Queen Alexandra Hospital in Portsmouth. Luckily, no one was on the steps at the time and the driver managed to climb out of the car safely.
Plenty still to come tonight on the programme, but do also take a look at our website where there's tributes to the comedienne Victoria Wood, who has sadly died aged 62.
It's very sad news, and David Cameron describes her as a national treasure. And there's also her tour, film for television, at Southampton's Mayflower Theatre. It's on our website. It's itv.com/Meridian.
Now, how much food do you throw away every month? Well, the latest figures suggest we're throwing away more than ever, with the average household binning £470 worth of food every year.
But with the help of new scientific research, that figure could be cut with the introduction of a chemical-free spray which can extend the shelf life of fresh fruit and veg. Max Walsh has been finding out more.
Free of pesticides and preservatives, this is as organic as it gets when you're trying to make food last longer. Recent trials have proved how this spray can extend the shelf life of fruit and vegetables by several days. It's a breakthrough which scientists believe could shake up the food industry.
We produce 4 billion tonnes of food annually across the world. What we know is that up to 50% of all food we grow is wasted. It never reaches a human tummy. That's an enormous amount of waste, enormous amount of energy, enormous amount of land that is used and wasted. Our approach is tackling that wastage. Can we intervene early? Can we reduce spoilage by killing the bacteria that lives on fresh produce?
The government-funded project has ambitious plans, but its saltwater solution is relatively simple. Using an electric charge, the spray is able to remove the bacteria which turns food rotten. But critics have questioned how natural and safe this really is.
Advantages of this solution is that we know it's quite safe to use by humans, it's quite safe on surfaces, it's quite safe in water, and it's quite safe on fresh produce.
For some, that's not quite good enough. Tom is a greengrocer, but he isn't convinced by the technology.
The whole thing about reserving fruits just for a day or two longer, I don't really see the benefit from that. I mean, maybe for a larger supermarket it might help them keep it on their shelves a bit longer, but I'm more interested in the quality and making sure that things don't have pesticides or don't have any solution on them. I'd like them to be more, the natural the better.
The group of scientists who've been working on the project since 2013 admit they're now in the persuasion phase. They know they need to convince supermarkets and suppliers to buy into it, as well as consumers to eat it.
Provided it has no unwanted side effects. And of course, with all these discoveries, things take a while to come out.
Often what happens, it seems to me, with this stuff is sounds really great. You think, oh great, it's great, it's going to preserve the fruit and veg, it's going to cut down on waste, and then you discover that the process of creating the spray, causes more trouble than the good it does in the veg. But yeah, if it's as good as it sounds like, then, you know, why not?
While the trial may have been a success, before this new technology starts changing the world, it might need to convince a few more people first. Max Walsh, ITV News.
Well, from fruit and veg to football, and the big question, could the South Coast have 3 teams in the Premier League next season? Sarah Gom, it's getting closer, isn't it?
We hope so, don't we, Fred?
We do.
Yes. Brighton have closed the gap on their promotion rivals. They now sit off the Championship top 2 only on goal difference after last night's 4-0 victory over QPR. The Seagulls are now level on points with second place Burnley, separated by a goal difference of just 4. It looks like the battle for a place in the Premier League could well go down to the wire, and our roundup of last night's action begins at the Amex.
ITV Meridian Sport Report, sponsored by WeWantAnyCar.com, the Cash for Cars website.
Anthony Knockaert's curling free kick was the catalyst to a comprehensive Brighton victory that keeps this chase for automatic promotion well and truly alive with just 3 games left to play. Jiri Shalak's 30-yard strike fired Chris Hughton's side 2-up before Connor Goldson made it 3. Knockaert's second sent the result beyond doubt, sealing the Albion's 6th win in 7 matches. Reading manager Brian McDermott describes his side's current form as a horrible little run after last night's defeat at home to Hull. The Royals' 4th consecutive loss came despite Jake Cooper's early opener. The visitors struck either side of the break, earning them their first away win since February. In League One, Swindon have been on a horrible little run of their own. A point from promotion-chasing Walsall went some way to changing that. Michael Doughty's opener wasn't enough to claim all 3 points. Substitute Kieran Morris ensured the points were shared. The battle for promotion from League Two looks to be going to the wire, with Oxford United claiming a point at Newport and Portsmouth faltering at York, despite their slim chances of survival in the Football League. They'd gone 2-up before the break, and Luke Summerfield struck their 3rd. Gareth Evans grabbed 1 back, too little too late to deny York City a first win in 13 games. Crawley were victim to a continuation of the promotion party at Northampton. With 10 minutes to play, the Cobblers were 2-up. Gwion Edwards' free kick reduced the deficit before Mark Yates' side was reduced to 10 men when Andy Bonds saw red. In cricket, a short time ago at Hove, Essex were trailing Sussex by 62 runs with 3 wickets remaining, and an injury hit Hampshire have drawn their match at Yorkshire. Fidel Edwards this morning became one of 6 Hampshire bowlers out injured. Coach Dale Benkenstein, who was forced to come on as a substitute fielder at Headingley today, says the county will use the loan market to provide cover. Now it's the home of British motorsport, and teams from our region have travelled to Silverstone for a race with a difference. Think speed, stamina and a good set of nerves. The World Endurance Championships has got underway, where drivers race specially built prototype cars at speeds of more than 200 miles an hour. Over the next few months, teams will compete in races around the world, as Matt Price explains.
It's a test of endurance for both man and machine. 6 hours on the track, no brakes, no time for a breather. It's about the stamina of the engine, but the driver too. And this weekend was just the start, with the tournament season taking in Mexico, Bahrain, and of course the 24-hour race in Le Mans, France. The smell of burning rubber, the loud clatter of engines here at Silverstone, all very familiar for Ferrari's Sam Bird. Having raced since a child, this hobby turned into a successful career.
It started when I was a young lad, really. You know, when I was 4 or 5, I used to write to my mum and dad, please take me karting. They took me when I was 8 years old, and that was kind of like the snowball. I've been the reserve driver for Mercedes Formula 1, came second in GP2. I've won races in Formula E, and I won the World Championship in LMP2 last year. here in WEC, and obviously I'm now wearing the Great Ferrari Red.
And it's a sport all about power, perhaps in more ways than one, attracting teams from across the globe, all hoping for a place on the podium. Over 90 drivers from 19 different countries have been here at the home of British motorsport over the course of the weekend, and it's a very specific CV you need for this job, the ability to concentrate well, sometimes to fit into the tightest of spaces, and a good set of nerves as well. These races are often seen as a chance for top manufacturers to test out new technology, which could make it into road cars in years to come.
With fantastic competitors in each category. LMP1, you have this such big fighting between Porsche, Toyota and Audi, with amazing car, probably the most sophisticated race car that you can find in the world, with a top speed and a high technology, hybrid technology.
The drivers' hard work might be done, but the teams here face another tough challenge: logistics. Moving all of this to race number 2, Belgium, in just 3 weeks' time. Matt Price, ITV News at Silverstone.
A group of patients, crew and staff who have either been rescued by or work for the Sussex Air Ambulance have raised thousands of pounds for the charity after taking part in the Brighton Marathon. They were among those who ran in the annual event at the weekend. 10,900 runners raced through the city, and the team of 100 fundraisers from the Air Ambulance raised more than £32,000. Well, it is the London Marathon on Sunday, and while thousands complete the 26-mile distance, high above them in the International Space Station, the Sussex astronaut Tim Peake will also be running. He's going to complete his own marathon on a treadmill to raise money for the Prince's Trust. He's incredible, isn't he?
He is, and he's done the London Marathon before, so he'll know what it's all about.
Bit different on a treadmill, though. No crowd, no atmosphere.
He wants
Good luck
a telly
to him.
so that we can all will him
He
off.
does, doesn't he?
So he does the marathon in space. Brighton get promotion. Result?
Happy days.
Brilliant, thank you. As we know, the Queen turns 90 tomorrow, and during her reign of more than 60 years, she's travelled to the Meridian region on many occasions.
Well, today the palace released this family portrait showing 4 generations of royals. The youngest, Prince George. The image has been turned into a set of stamps that'll be on sale tomorrow. Lovely.
Well,
this week we're looking back at your memories. I went to meet Leslie Smith, who was chosen to meet the Queen when he just started his Navy career at the age of 16.
Her Majesty's first official call was at HMS Ganges. Then came their proudest moment, as the Queen stepped from her car to watch the various activities which had been prepared for her.
July the 21st, 1961, HMS Ganges, and you are the button boy right at the top.
That's right, yeah.
How high were you there?
We was at 142 feet. There was no safety harnesses at all in those days. The last 20 foot of the mast at Ganges you had to shin up.
But all the time you knew that Her Majesty the Queen was going to be watching. How did you feel about that?
Well, nerve-wracking to start with. That was more nerve-wracking than actually being on top of the mast. And I had to say to her, "Mast cleared, ma'am."
When you met the Queen, when you came face to face with her, what did she say to you?
She shook my hand, asked me how old I was, and asked me if I was frightened, and that I'd done a very good job. She was very pleasant, very pleasant. I didn't have, a lot of time with her, just to go up there and say my piece.
You've been a naval man for most of your life. So what have your feelings been for Her Majesty the Queen and the service she's given to our country?
Well, she is obviously one of the most, I think, remarkable women for the dedication that she's always given to the country. Even now, she is still going around, she's still doing everything. We did meet again, actually, on the Royal Yacht when her Silver Jubilee. And again, I was lucky enough to be picked to go and have tea over on the Royal Yacht with other members of the Royal Navy in the Solent.
And when you show these cuttings, newspaper cuttings, and the medal to your family, they must be very impressed that you did this as a 16-year-old boy.
I think so, yeah. Although I think some of my sons sort of sit back and have a yawn now and again because I've probably mentioned it too many times.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Lovely memories from Leslie there. And a reminder, there's lots going on tomorrow on the Queen's actual birthday. There'll be celebrations at Windsor Castle and beacons are being lit across the region early evening. There's a whole list of locations on our website. Just go to itv.com/Meridian.
Celebrations all round then. All we need now is the weather to play ball on the big day.
We need it to be like it was today.
Will it be? Let's find out. Here's Amanda Houston.
From blizzards to pool, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Hello there. Well, many of us got to see some gorgeous sunshine across the region this afternoon, and looking ahead to tomorrow, it will be another fine and dry day for many. However, a change coming away on Friday. We are expecting some patchy rain, then once that moves through, it will be feeling much colder by the time we get to the weekend. So today, across the UK, temperatures were well above average for the time of year. But by the time we hit the weekend, you can see we start to draw in a northerly airflow, which means by the time we get to Saturday, temperatures will be below average for the time of year. Now, for the rest of this evening and tonight, it will remain windy across coastal areas. Elsewhere, it's dry. We've got some clear skies and temperatures there cold enough for a touch of frost, which means for many of us, it will be a chilly old start to the day tomorrow, but there will be plenty of sunshine to begin with. But the cloud is going to increase as we go through the day, so it shouldn't spoil things really low. Just turning that sunshine hazy. For many of us, it's a fine and dry day. We're looking at highs there of 16 degrees, that's 61 in Fahrenheit. Then patchy rain to come on Friday. Could see the odd wintry shower on Saturday. Bye-bye.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
In just a moment, we have the ITV Evening News with Mark Austin and Charlene White.
Stacey Paul's got our late news, so try and join her if you can. But for now, from the team here at ITV Meridian, thank you very much indeed for watching. Enjoy the evening. Take care from us all.
Good night. Bye-bye.